Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Muspat Paramahansa Parivrajagaracharya Sattva Srimad Bhagavatam Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bhog Bhagnath Sam Khund Radha Khund Giri Govardhan ki Jai Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Navadvip Dham ki Jai Ganga Mai ki Jai, Jamuna Mai ki Jai, Guru Dwarka Dham ki Jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, all glories to their Samaya. All glories to their Samaya. Thank you very much.
All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead.
So, you read part one.
This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by acceleration of devotional service. Time and tide wait for no man. So the time indicated by the sunrise and the sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Even a fraction of the duration of life wasted cannot be compensated by any amount of gold. Human life is simply awarded to a living entity, jiva, so he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness. A living being, especially the human being, is seeking happiness because happiness is the natural situation of the living entity. But he is vainly seeking happiness in the material atmosphere. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole, and his happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. The Lord is the complete spirit whole, and his name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all identical with him. Once a person comes into contact with any one of the above-mentioned energies of the Lord through the proper channel of devotional service, the door of perfection is immediately opened. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has explained such contact in the following words. Endeavors in devotional service are never baffled, nor is there failure. A slight beginning of such activities is sufficient even to deliver a person from the great ocean of material fears. Bhagavad Gita 2:40. As a highly potent drug injected intravenously acts at once on the whole body, similarly the transcendental topics of the Lord injected through the ear of the pure devotee of the Lord can act very efficiently. Oral realization of the transcendental messages implies total realization, just as fructification of one part of a tree implies fructification of all other parts. This realization for a moment in the association of pure devotees like Shukadev Goswami prepares one's complete life for eternity. And as such, the sun fails to rob the pure devotee of his duration of life, inasmuch as he is constantly busy in the devotional service of the Lord, purifying his existence. Death is a symptom of the material infection of the eternal living being. And due to material infection only, the eternal living being is subjected to the law of birth, death, old age, and disease. The materialistic way of pious activities, like charity, etc., is recommended in the Smriti Shastras, as quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. Such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahmin. If the money is given in charity to a non-Brahmana without Brahminical qualification, the money is returned in the next life in the same proportion. If it is given in charity to a half-educated Brahmana, even then the money is returned double. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmana, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraka, one who has actually realized the path of the Vedas, it is returned by unlimited multiplication. The ultimate end of Vedic knowledge is to realize the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo. There is a guarantee of money being returned if given in charity, regardless of the proportion. Similarly, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee, by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord, is a perfect guarantee for eternal life, for returning home back to Godhead. Madhama gatva punajanma na vidyate. In other words, a devotee of the Lord is guaranteed eternal life. A devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life.
So, Ayurharati vai pungsha. This sunshine, sunrise and sunset means a decreasing our life. It is very nice example. The sun's business is to take away a portion of your span of life. That is business. But he cannot take away the portion of the life of a devotee. Because a devotee is going to leave. This Krishna consciousness movement is to give a living entity a permanent span of life. Uttama sloka bhartaya. Uttama sloka is Krishna. Uttama sloke. Bhakti bhavati naisthiki uttama sloka. Bhagavati uttama sloke. In another place it is stated. Tada nasta prayesu abhadreshu nasta prayesu abhadreshu nityang bhagavata sevaya. Nityam, just like we are holding class daily, nityam, regularly. Nityam means regularly, daily, always. So, nityam bhagavata sevaya. The beginning, just like when a man is infected with a disease, he is subjected to death. Crude example. So when a man falls diseased, the physician tries to get him relieved from that infection. So our material body is an infection. Actually, we spiritual soul, we have no death. It is due to this infection. This infection is called dirty things. Actually it is dirt. Dust thou art, dust thou beest. That's a fact. Because as soon as I, the soul, will leave this body, it will be immediately decomposed, and after a few days it will be earth, dust. So actually it is dirt. So we have to cleanse this dirt from my real identity, spiritual identity. This is the process. And this cleansing process is very nicely done simply by hearing the message of Uttama Sloka or Krishna. You haven't got to scratch it with some machine. No. It will be automatically cleans if you simply give oral reception to the message of the Uttama Sloka, which is, in other words, it is called Krsna Katha. The Krsna Katha means words of Krishna. Katha means words, and Krishna you understand. The Krsna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna personally giving you words of instruction. So, if we simply read Bhagavad Gita, then the sun cannot take away my duration of life. How? What is the proof? The proof is the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Janma karma me dipam jo janati tattata. Anyone who understands about my birth and appearance, Lord does not take birth. Ajo. Ajo means who never takes birth, ever existing. Ajopi san abhayatma bhutanam iswaropi san sammami jugi. So, Ajo, one who does not take birth, but still we see the Krishna is taking birth. We are observing the birth anniversary of Lord Krishna. So therefore, what is the mystery? He does not take birth, still we are observing the birth anniversary of Krishna, Janmashtami. So this is to be understood, tattata, in truth. Jo janati tattva. Krishna says, Veda says that natasya karyam karanancha vidyate. The Supreme Lord, God, has nothing to do. Why he shall do? So, and again we see that Krishna, since the day of his appearance at his maternal uncle's prison, till his going back to his own home, he was always active, especially in killing the demons. But such demons could be killed without the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If there is little earthquake, millions of demons can be killed. It is not very difficult job. If the Pacific Ocean overfloods this city, millions of people can be killed. If there is a war, millions of people can be killed. If there is epidemic, millions of men can be killed. So killing the demons, for that purpose he does not come, Krishna. There are Krishna's many agents, they can kill such demons without any difficulty. But he comes paritranaya sadhuna, just like Lord Nrsimha appeared not to kill the demon Hiranyakasipu. He could be killed otherwise. But he appeared for Prahlad. Prahlad Maharaj, he was being so much teased and so much tortured, he could not tolerate it. So he wanted to show his devotee that I shall kill your torturer before you. That is the purpose. So he did not appear for killing Hiranyakasipu. He appeared to give encouragement to Prahlad Maharaj, as he says, Konteya pratijani hi name bhakta pranasati. he asked Arjuna to declare, my dear Arjuna, you declare that my devotee will never be vanquished. So therefore he comes. So these are the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in tattva. So if we discuss about Krishna Katha, the words of Krishna, there are two books, words of Krishna, one Bhagavad Gita. Every Vedic literature is Krishna Katha, but these two books especially Krishna Katha. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is directly speaking, and Srimad Bhagavatam directly speaking about Krishna. Both of them are Krishna Katha. So therefore here it is said, Uttama sloko vartaya. Varta means message, words. See, if we pass our time simply by reading and talking about Krishna, then the sun will not be able to take away our life. This is the secret. If you want to become immortal, then you always be engaged in Krishna Katha. Always, 24 hours. Always think of Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. So everyone is dying, but those who are engaged in Krishna Katha, in Krishna consciousness, those are busy in Krishna's business, they are not dying, they are living. How? Because ordinary man, his duration of life, span of life is being taken away by the sun rising and sunset every day. If a man is 50 years old, that means he has to live for 80 years. So 50 years duration has already been taken away by the sun. 50 years old means that 50 years of time has already been taken away by the sun. It will never come back. But what about the devotees? He is also the same. His also life is being taken away. No. His life is not being taken away. Because he is going to leave. Superficially, we see that the body of a devotee is also taken away. But this is not the real body. Real body is the spiritual body. The spiritual body, just like Krishna says, takta deham, punarjanma naiti mameti. After giving up this body, he does not take birth, he comes to me. Now the body is given up. Then how he goes? He says he comes to me. Who comes to him? Materialistic person, the so-called scientist, they know this body, this cell. They do not know that the body is the cover of the cell. This real cell, the real person goes to Krishna to live forever. So those who are devotees, those who are in Krishna consciousness, they are giving up this infected body and they are getting the new, not new, the old original body, spiritual body. Therefore, as soon as you get the spiritual body, the sun has no power to take it away. That is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, that the fire cannot burn it, the weapon cannot kill it, the water cannot moist it, in so many ways, indirect way, that described. The spirit cannot be destroyed by anything material. Matter, just like this body is matter. His body can be cut into pieces, but the spirit soul cannot be. The body can be burned into ashes, but the spirit soul cannot be. Pavaka, dahati pavaka. So, the modern scientists, they say that there is no life in the sun planet, sun globe. Well, that is not a fact. What is sun globe? It is a fiery planet, that's all. But the spirit soul can live in the fire, and he gets a fiery body. Just like here, on this planet, on earth, we have got this earthly body. It may be very beautiful, but it is earth. Simply by nature's manipulation. Just like we are coming, Karanda showed me the plastic, some trees. So they have made the plastic trees exactly resembling the tree, but it is not tree. Similarly, this body is as good as the plastic body. It has no value. So, takta deham, when Krishna says that after giving up this body, but this body is plastic body, just like you have got cotton shirt or plastic shirt or so many, you can give it up. That doesn't mean you die. That is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhashangsi jinnani jatha vihaya. As one gives a old garment for a new one. Similarly, death means to give up this plastic body and take another plastic body. That is death. And again, under that plastic body, you have to work. If you get a nice body, then you can work nicely. If you get a dog's body, then you act like dog, according to body. So, takta deham, Krishna says that anyone who understands me in truth, how he will understand? Simply, if you hear about him, then you will understand. Then you will understand. So, hearing is not very difficult job, but you must hear from the realized soul. That is satang prasanga mama bija sangvida. If you hear from a professional man, that will not be effective. Hearing must be from sadhu, from devote, from the lips of the devote. Just like Sukadeva Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. So, or even if you hear yourself, you read books, you will save your life. If you simply read Krishna book or Bhagavad Gita or teachings of Lord Chaitanya, then you know as long as you are reading, the sun is unable to take your life. It is not possible for the sun to take your life. So if you constantly read, then where is the opportunity of sun's taking your life? That means you are becoming immortal. People are very much anxious to become immortal. Nobody wants to die. Everyone knows that I shall die. But if there is immediately some danger, fire, immediately go away from this room. Why? I do not wish to die. I do not wish to die. Although I know I must have to die, still why do I go away? I know that I'll let there be fire. I have to die today or tomorrow. Let me die. No, I do not wish to die. Therefore I go away. This is psychology. So everyone wants to live forever. That's a fact. So if you want to live forever, then you have to take to Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness movement is so important and nice. Everyone wants to live. So actually if you want to live, then you take to Krishna consciousness. This verse confirms it. Ayur harati vaipungsha uddannastancha jannaso. The sun is rising early in the morning. As it is rising, gradually it is taking your life. That's all. That is the business. But if you want to defeat Krishna, this sun is very powerful. It is very difficult to fight, but you can fight with the sun. How? Simply by reading Krishna Katha, the words of Krishna. Uttama sloka vartaya. Vartaya. Uttama sloka Krishna. So this is the simple process. So don't waste your time by talking nonsense. Therefore, Rupa Goswami has advised Utyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha. Prajalpa. Utyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha. Laulam janasangascha sarabhi bhakti pranasati. Our devotional life can be finished, means may we baffle those who are in devotional life, Krishna consciousness. They are fortunate. This fortune can be ruined by 6 things. Be careful. What is that? Utyahara. Utyahara means eating more than necessity or collecting more than necessity. Ahara means collecting. We require to collect some money, but we should not collect more than necessity. That is because if I get more money, then immediately Maya will pay. Why don't you spend for me? Yes. So don't collect more than what you require, you collect. Or similarly, ahara means eating. Don't eat more than necessity. Actually, we have to come to the point of meal, eating, sleeping, mating, and depending. And that is not possible because you have got this body. But minimum. So utyahara, prayasa, and too much unnecessary spoiling energy. We should not take a great risk so that we have to work for it very seriously. We must accept something which can be easily done. Utyahara prajalpa. And prajalpa means talking nonsense. And this is the nature of the living entity in conditioned state, just like as soon as the crows, they gather together, crow, 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 crow. The frogs, any living entity, as soon as they will gather, they will talk all nonsense. Don't do that. We have got great assembly, we have got facility for mixing, but if you take advantage of this assembly and talk all nonsense, what is politics, what is this, what is that, prajalpa, that is called prajalpa. So, utyahara prayasasya prajalpa niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means the not accepting the rules and regulations. Another meaning of niyamagraha means simply blindly following the rules and regulations, but he does not know for what he is doing that. Gaddolika Prabha. It is called Gaddolika Prabha. Everyone is doing this, but he does not understand why he is doing it. There are many stories of this Gaddolika Prabha. Sometimes I will tell you. So, Niyamagraha. So, 1, Atyara, 2, Prayas, 3, Prajalpa, and 4, Niyamagraha, and 5th, Laulam, greediness, and 6, Janasanga. Janasanga means to associate with ordinary men. Those have no sense of Krishna consciousness. So-called karmis, jnanis, yogis, they do not understand Krishna, or scientists, philosophers. We should not associate with them. When we know Harava Bhakta Sukuto Mahatguna, anyone who does not understand what is Krishna or what is Krishna's service, he may be very big man in the ordinary estimation, but we don't give him any value. Harava Bhakta Sukuto Mahatguna. Manorathena sato dhavatu vihi. Because they are mental speculators. They have no value. They have their value in their own way, but according to our line of thought, they have no value. So, Prajalpa, in this way, Prajalpa, there is tendency of talking. You talk of Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. That is Krishna consciousness. Just like we assemble together, few friends, we want to vibrate something, just like the child is also vibrating. That is nature. A bird will vibrate, a beast will vibrate. So we have to vibrate the transcendental sound, then we shall be saved from the plundering business of the sun. This is the secret. Always talk of Krishna, and you must know that you are saving yourself, you are not dying yourself. Because talking of Krishna means we'll understand about Krishna, and Krishna says, anyone who understands me rightly, then after giving up this body, he comes to me. And as soon as you go to him, back to Godhead, your life is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. That is Satchidananda Vigraha. So why should we lose this opportunity? It is the most rascal person, they give up this. They do not take advantage of this advantage of Krishna Katha. Therefore Shastra say, Smartabhyam satato Vishnu, Vismartabhyam na jatuchi. We shall have to remember Vishnu always, everywhere, always. Tasmad bharata sarvatma bhagavan haridish smartabhyam srutavyam kirtitavyascha smartabhyamcha nityasa. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. We have to hear about Krishna, we have to chant about Krishna, we have to memorize about Krishna, we have to worship Krishna. And this is our movement. We are worshipping Krishna in the temple, we are thinking of him, we are talking about him, and we are hearing about him. So if we live in this way, it does not require any monetary exchange or any high education. Everyone can hear about Krishna. Everyone, after hearing, everyone can talk about Krishna. And while hearing and talking, he can remember about Krishna. And everyone can worship in the temple. What is the difficulty? By prosecuting these four principles of Krishna consciousness, you become immortal. No austerity, no parents, no education, no riches. Simply by following these four principles, you become immortal. So, this verse is very important. Ayudh harati vai pungsam uddhannastancha jannaso tassate jat khanonita tassarite. One who is passing time in this way, simply with Krishna consciousness, chanting also. If you have no time, if you have now spare time, don't sit idly. If there is no facility for reading books or talking about Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. If you have got next moment, you can interchange, read something. Always be busy with Krishna. Then sun will not be able to kill you. You are going to live forever. This is the process. First time. Kirtan. Very Samson. That is the animals. Pasava means animals, and beastly living being also. Then?
Translation. Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen? Purport. The materialistic man of the modern age will argue that life, or part of it, is never meant for discussion of theosophical or theological arguments. Life is meant for the maximum duration of existence, for eating, drinking, sexual intercourse, making merry, and enjoying life. The modern man wants to live forever by the advancement of material science, and there are many foolish theories for prolonging life to the maximum duration. But the Srimad Bhagavatam affirms that life is not meant for so-called economic development or advancement of materialistic science for the hedonistic philosophy of eating, mating, drinking, and merrymaking. Life is solely meant for tapasya, for purifying existence, so that one may enter into eternal life just after the end of the human form of life. The materialists want to prolong life as much as possible because they have no information of the next life. Therefore, they want to get the maximum comforts of life only in this present life, thinking conclusively that there is no life after death. This ignorance about the eternity of the living being and the change of covering in the material world has played havoc in the structure of the modern human society. Consequently, there are many problems multiplied by various plans of modernized man. The plans for solving the problems of society have only aggravated the troubles. Even if it is possible to prolong life more than 100 years, advancement of human civilization does not necessarily follow. The Bhagavatam says that certain trees live for hundreds and thousands of years. At Vrindavan, there is a tamarind tree. The place is known as Imlatal, which is said to be existing since the time of Lord Krishna. In the Calcutta Botanical Garden, there is a banyan tree, said to be older than 500 years, and there are many such trees all over the world. Swami Shankaracharya lived only 32 years, and Lord Chaitanya lived 48 years. Does it mean that the prolonged lives of the above-mentioned trees are more important than Shankara or Chaitanya? Prolonged life without spiritual value is not very important. One may doubt that trees have life because they do not breathe, but modern scientists like Bose have already proved that there is life in plants, so breathing is no sign of actual life. The Bhagavatam says that the bellows of the blacksmith breathes very soundly, but that does not mean that the bellows has life. The materialist will argue that life in the tree and life in the man cannot be compared because the tree cannot enjoy life by eating palatable dishes or by enjoying sexual intercourse. In reply to this, the Bhagavatam asks whether other animals, like the dogs and hogs, living in the same village with human beings, do not eat and enjoy sexual life. The specific utterance of Srimad Bhagavatam in this connection regarding other animals means that persons who are simply engaged in the matter of planning a better type of animal life, consisting of eating, breathing, and mating, are also animals in the shape of human beings. A society of such polished animals cannot benefit suffering humanity, for an animal can easily harm another animal, but rarely do good.
This is the situation. We have discussed in the previous verse that we are decreasing the span of life. The scientists will say, no, we are making arrangement so that by science we shall make man immortal. Bikatate, when a man becomes mad, he speaks so many nonsense. Like a child. A child also speaks so many nonsense things. The parents enjoy it. Similarly, the so-called scientist, when he says that by scientific method we shall stop death. So, there is no evidence in the history of the human society that a man has not died. That cannot be. Hiranyakashipu, he was also atheist and materialist. He also tried to become immortal. And he made a plan, negative plan, to cheat Lord Brahma, that I shall not die in this way, and that way, in this way, that way. But still he was killed. Mrityu sarva harastaham. Krishna says that I am death. And at the time of death, I take away everything. Sarva harasta. So, we cannot cheat God or His law. That is not possible. We may be very intelligent to cheat here the police or the government or the law, but it is not possible to cheat the supreme laws. That is not possible. Therefore, in order to avoid the superintendence of the Supreme Lord, because there is superintendence, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, you have read, Mayadhakshena prakriti siyate sacharacharam. Under my superintendence, the law of nature is working. So we are under the laws of nature. The nature is very vigilant, a strong agent of Krishna. Devijjisa gunamayi mama maya duratya. So, we cannot avoid, even if we deny there is no God, there is no systematic government or stringent laws, just to avoid our responsibility, but that will not save us. Now the argument is, in the previous verse, it is said that we are decreasing our duration of life. The scientists will say, no, we shall stop it. Taking this argument, Bhagavad says, suppose you stop death. It cannot be. Suppose you increase the duration, span of life to a very extensive way. In reply to that, it is said that what is the use of living for so many years? If the life is not properly utilized, now the living for many, many years, though the trees are also living, standing in one place, and living for many years. In San Francisco you saw, they said that one tree, a red tree, very tall, very stout and strong, and it said that this tree is standing there for 7,000 of years. So what is the benefit? So we can argue that you cannot compare with sea and us, because we have got so many facilities. What facility? That facility, the tree is live, there is life admitting, but it cannot breathe. So immediately the answer is, Bhastra king na sasantata. Bhastra, billow, you have seen big billows in blacksmith shop. That is also made of skin, just like our body is made of skin. That billow is also made of skin, and it has got a big nose, and breathing is coming. Boss. So these are the tangible examples. If you want to increase your life, there are many living entities. They are living many years more than you. What what is excellence in your part? And if you say that I am breathing, the tree cannot breathe. There is the bastra, the bellows. It can breathe better than you. Then he says, no, they have no enjoyment of eating and mating. Then the Bhagavad replied, Ki nakhadanti na mehanti kingrami pasavo pare. Wherever we live, there are many other lower animals, just like dogs, cats, hogs, asses, animals, camels, of course. In city we do not find these, but in villages these are domestic animals. Dogs, asses, horse, camel, monkey, and so many others. Therefore he says, Grame, in your vicinity, in your neighborhood, there are many animals. They have got the facility of eating and sexual intercourse. So how do we excel them? The modern civilization is such a foolish civilization that they think they are advanced. In which way you are advanced? The animals, the trees, they are far advanced than you in this matter. So far bodily necessities are concerned, you cannot compete with them. You are flying, so you can fly by aeroplane. The vulture can fly more than you. It is a vulture and it flies many miles above. And it has got very sharp eyesight. The vulture is so up, the business is where there is a dead body, that's all. He is trying to find out. Where is a dead body? You see? It goes high, but the business is to find out a dead body, that's all. Similarly, this advancement of science, increasing the duration of life, increasing the sex power, especially in these days, as soon as there is lack of sex power, there is divorce suit. Yes. But You have seen the dogs and cats, how much sex power they have got. So, begetting children, the hog can beget children, at least 3 dozen a year. What we can do? In 3 years, it is hardly we can produce 1 child. And the hog will produce in 3 years at least 36 children. So you cannot compete simply by competing with these things, animal life. That is not excellence of your life. Real excellence is that these animals, they cannot become Krishna conscious. That is the difference only. You can excel with all these lower animals, trees, birds, beasts and others, so many, only by awakening your Krishna consciousness. That is the only business. And if you lack in that matter Krishna consciousness, then the other animals, lower animals, they are far, far advanced. They are far, far advanced. So, as human beings, we should consider all these points. The Bhagavad is pointing out each and every step of our life and helping us how to become Krishna conscious. When Narad Muni advised Vyasadeva that you have written so many books, but actually they are not very much beneficial to the human society. You write such a book that they will come to Krishna consciousness. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is especially written to bring these rascals and animals to come to Krishna consciousness. The so-called advanced civilization going to hell, they do not know. Adanta gobhi visatang tamisram punap punachar vitachar banana. Chewing the chews. So many advertisements only for drinking and sex. When you go to the beach, the 2 sides, the advertisement full of drinking and sex, that's all. So animal civilization. Don't be proud of this rascal civilization. There is no meaning of this civilization. And big professor, he says, Swamiji, there is no life after death. Let's see. And he is a professor, he is teacher. This is the position. Fools, rascals, they are leaders, professors, and scientists and philosophers, and pushing us towards hell, that's all. Because they do not know what is the value of life. They do not know that there is life after death. Otherwise, why there are so many varieties of life? They concoct their own conclusion. They do not refer to the authorities, what is the actual position. They manufacture their own way of life. It is very dangerous civilization. Because dangerous in this sense, that this life, human form of life, is especially meant for God's realization. But in that subject matter, they are blind. There is no education system, there is no university, nothing of this sort, simply animalistic way of life, how we can increase our eating capacity or sexual capacity, and this is going on. So Bhagavad is pointing out, my dear sir, by these things you cannot be very much proud. One more verse, yes. So, swa means dog. And bid baraha. There are two kinds of hogs. One is that we see generally in towns and villages. That is baraha. Baraha means hogs. They eat stool, bir baraha. Another, a jungle baraha. They have got a big, what is called? Tusk. Yes, that is more dangerous. They live in the jungle. And bir baraha means they live in the village, finding out where is stool, where is stool, where is stool. Savir baraha ustra. Ustra means camel. And khara means ass. So, here it is a very terse remark that anyone who has never heard the glories of Gadagaja, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in other words, one who is not Krishna conscious, does not know anything about Krishna or God, they are no better than these animals, especially dog, hog, ass, camel. Why these four kinds of animals have been selected to compare? That is explained. Shaw means dog. A dog, however powerful it may be, very strong, stout, but unless it has got a master, its life is very precarious. Dog. Just see our education at the present moment, very advanced education. Many Indian students come here also to take advanced education. But actually, if we consider this education creating dogs. Why? Because however technologist you may be, if you don't get a suitable service, all your education is finished. Therefore, after education, you will have to write application. My dear sir, I am such and such qualified dog. If you will kindly give me some service, and the tale is like this. Just imagine. If by education he becomes independent, just like Vedic culture, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, they are independent. The Shudras are compared with the dogs because they cannot live without a master. Brahmin, he will not accept anyone's service. That is real Brahmin. A Kshatriya will never accept anyone's service. Why the battle of Kurukshetra was there? The Kurus, they took away the whole kingdom of the Pandavas, but they are Kshatriyas, how they will live. Therefore, the fight was necessity. The Kshatriyas must have some land to collect taxes. That is the Kshatriya's source of income. The Brahmin source of income, Patan, Jajan, Jajan. They must be learned scholar. They must teach others. They must be devotee and teach others how to become devotee. They must take contribution and must spend for Krishna. This is Brahmin. No service. burn my leg. No Brahmins. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they were born in high class Brahmin family, Saraswat Brahmin. But because they accepted the service of Nawab Hussain Shah, immediately they were rejected from Brahmin society. It is by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that they again became Goswamis. Otherwise, they were rejected. No Brahmin could take service, and especially service of a low class man. That is, in Bhagavad you will see, especially that if a Brahmin is in difficulty, he may accept the profession of a Kshatriya or at most of a Vaishya, but never take the profession of a Shudra. What is the profession of Shudra? Shudra is paricharyatmakam karjam Shudra karma sabhavajam. One who is hankering after service, he is Shudra. He has no capacity to live independently. The Brahmin, real Brahmin, he will starve. He will die out of starvation. He will never accept anyone's service. That is Brahmin. Unchavritti. If he has no income, he will go on the field, and when the grains are taken away, some grains fall down, they will pick up all those grains and live on that. Still will not go to anyone that I am hungry, give me something. No. Unchavritti. So, our education, and why we are so independent? Because the education was very high, Vedic education, satisfied with Brahma realization, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Not very long ago, say about 300 years ago, there was a Brahmin, very rigid Brahmin, in Krsna near our Mayapur. And Brahmin's business, he was teaching. So the king of that place, big Jamindar, Raja Krishna Chandra, by his name, that place is as Krishnanagar. So he heard about the Brahmin, very learned Brahmin, but very poor. So he one day came to him and asked him, Brahmin, can I help you anyway? So he said, no, I don't require any help from you. No, I see you are so poverty-stricken, you have no sufficient means. No, I am not poverty-stricken. My students, they get some alms of rice. So my wife boils the rice, and here is a tamarind tree. So I take some leaves and boil it. That's sufficient. Why am I poverty-stricken? He is satisfied. Whatever is coming automatically, that's all. He doesn't require any higher standard of life, any botheration. He is satisfied. Little rice and tamarind juice, that's all. So in each and every home, formally, this independence was very much valued. So at the modern education, this independence is being killed. People are becoming unemployed. Machine, high technologist means he must find out a job where technological machines are there, otherwise he will starve and he will have to go from factory to factory. will you give me some service? No vacancy. Yeah. So we shall discuss further next tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Sabi